This is a complicated situation, and it's a situation that has the potential to get a lot worse, and I feel like we're not hearing any rhetoric around peaceful resolution, potential solutions. And personally, I hope I'm not being dreadfully cynical here, I think that's in some part because the military-industrial complex benefits hugely from the ongoing conflict, like they did in Afghanistan. I mean, did you think that things are better now in Afghanistan? Who benefited from what went on in Afghanistan, for God's sake? Who benefited from what went on in Iraq? Who's benefiting from this stuff? Well, there are people, and they're the same people as are advocating for this war. And the subsequent reconstruction is obviously an advantage. So it feels to me like we need peace to enter this conversation. I know there are some people in other spaces advocating for it, and new alliances in the United States of America from people from libertarian backgrounds and traditional leftist backgrounds. And God knows those are the kind of alliances that are going to be required. I certainly don't think the only way we talk about this war is something that has to be prolonged, unrealistic expectations like Russia is somehow going to disappear, and bombastic, militaristic, celebratory rallies in Poland that don't take into account how complicated and how dangerous this is for everybody.
But hours before President Biden's speech, Russia's Vladimir Putin escalated tensions with the U.S. and its allies.
It's Vladimir Putin. He's escalating the tensions. All of this military aid and turning up in Poland and doing a light show. That's not annoying anyone. That's entertainment. Here we have a brilliant opportunity to look at how the mainstream media operates in real time. Biden and Putin are essentially doing the same thing. They're addressing supporters on the anniversary of a war, which seems like a weird thing to do anyway. Biden, he says, like, Biden is commemorating, consoling, helping. Putin escalated tensions. They're doing the same thing. You can literally see the bias unfold. Any media source that doesn't at least give you an alternative perspective, I'm willing to continually say, Putin, I don't think I'd like to live in Russia. But our role is to keep you informed and, more significantly, to present options, at least theoretically and philosophically, that don't lead to nuclear Armageddon. Why are the mainstream media supporting a dynamic that will at some point meaningfully impact your life? It does already, because it means you live in an environment where you don't have any access to truth, and the interests of the powerful are escalated so giddily that you can't do anything in your own life of any value or meaning. But when it comes to something like this, there are terminal consequences.
President Biden in Warsaw, President Putin in Moscow, with dueling messages on the eve of the first year of war in Ukraine.
1 year ago, the world was bracing for the fall of Kyiv. Well, I just come from a visit to Kyiv, and I can report Kyiv stands strong.
I'm happy that people in Kyiv are not suffering, but that kind of bombast is not helpful. It's reductive. Do you see how the media and prominent political figures talk to you kind of like you're a child, using very reductive metaphors, body language, simplistic ideas? Could you handle living in a world where the president goes, this is a really bloody complicated situation, actually, and we're backing Ukraine militarily, from which we are obviously benefiting financially, or at least some powerful lobbyist groups are benefiting and their interests are benefiting. But I am extremely concerned that Ukraine now wants to retake Crimea, or take Crimea, depending on how you regard it. And Putin has said that's a red line. And I should probably tell you that this last remaining nuclear treaty has just been torn up. So we're in a really difficult situation. That's the level of discourse that I need and that you deserve and that we should all have. Not people going, Kiev stands strong. Oh, you fought to take us, did you, buddy? I showed Corn Pop and now I'll show Putin. Did Corn Pop have a nuclear arsenal? No, but he had a bike chain. Yeah, that's not as bad.
Kyiv stands proud. It stands tall.
Tall? Oh, you don't need tall along strong and proud. Oh, it's nice and proud and strong, but it's a bit too low, isn't it? It's just saying stuff now. He's trying to do a Trump-style ad-lib, and it's not working.
And most important, it stands free.
Is it free, or is it tied into terrifying contracts with BlackRock in the post-war reconstruction? Is it going to be taking IMF loans? It doesn't stand free. It stands in alignment with US hegemonic interests. That's what this is all about. The media are supporting that. It's sort of dazzling that we would play brinkmanship in such a high-stakes game. I get nervous all the time if I pull out in traffic. They're messing with the future of the entire planet, which, by the way, when it comes to climate change, they all claim to love, when they can lock you down and control your movement and surveil you and control your data and get your biometrics. But flirting with nuclear Armageddon, they're talking about it like it's a very simple thing. Strong, tall, long. It's not toilet roll. This is not lavatory paper. This is a war that might decide the future, or lack thereof, of our whole planet.
Thousands of Polish citizens, Ukrainian refugees, and American diplomats and aid workers gathered to see the president, the centerpiece of a stage featuring smoke machines and resembling a rock concert.
I don't think that's the right vibe to go for on the precipice of nuclear Armageddon, do you? What was it like the moments before the planet was destroyed? Reminded me a lot of you too. Yeah, me too. Hey, see these smoke machines? Yeah? You'll be thankful for the preparation when you're living in a radioactive fog. Hey, put a mask on. Do the masks work against radiation? Probably not, but they don't work against anything. Stop reducing nuclear wars to entertainment.
Hours earlier, Putin's national address was delivered to a room full of loyalists.
Oh, this is propaganda, though, what Putin's doing. We're much too discerning and clever to fall for this crap that Putin's doing. That's a room full of loyalists. He's escalating tensions. Not like Biden. He's got a smoke machine. He did a jittery walk on his way out to the stage. This is much better. Biden is honest. He doesn't represent a bunch of concealed interests that benefit from a situation that's detrimental to nearly everyone else, including and especially the Ukrainian people. Putin, boo, boo. Did you hear he shot himself once?